Okay. Are we recording? We are recording. Okay, we are recording. Okay, so.
Are we live?
Yes, we are.
All right.
Live.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to Cross Politics.
That's not what I was doing.
On YouTube. Okay. Good to be with you guys. And as you know, well, as you don't know yet, but we had Mark Dewey and Dennis Sarfate on the show, and they're former Major League Baseball pitchers, and we talked about kind of what was going on with the Major League Baseball.
Yes.
LGBT, forced wearing the patch at this point. You got to put on the patch now.
Ain't about the patch.
And about the patch.
They want everybody gay.
And it's a crazy ordeal with the they aren't Devil Rays anymore, but it's the Tampa Bay Rays. They used to be called Devil Rays. Tampa Bay Rays in Florida, where they had 5 baseball players. It's Pride Month, right? Everyone's wearing the patches, the hats, the colors, everything, right? They had 5 apparently Christian baseball players who decided, no, we're not going to wear the patch. We're not going to bow our knee to Jesus, not to the patch. And they've been getting put through the ringer. Apparently, as Mark Dewey pointed out, you have to actually download the app and check out the live show today at 6 p.m., 9 p.m. Eastern time in the app. And Mark Dewey pointed out that the spokesman for the Ray, the Rays resistance.
Jason Adam.
The Rays resistance, let's call it.
The Rays pitcher?
Yep. He is a first-year player. Or
which takes him,
player,
so I got to tell you just to
which makes me take his statement. His statement was a little soft, but I'm like, whoa, that actually, he's doing all right.
Facts that I took his statement, I was like, man, this ain't as solid. But the fact that this is his first year and he's the one standing up, and then I think it was Dennis who we had on the show. He said, look, man, we're the people who are making $34 million a year who he knows that are Christians, and they're not the one. They don't have their back. That's what, this would be really simple. And be like, hey, you know what? Y'all leave them alone because we're going to join them. We're not going to do this either because we love people who are homosexuals and we don't want them to harm themselves because they're made in the image of God, right? And so we want the very best for them, and the very best for them is not to have this type of lifestyle. And if they're having a problem, Christ comes to remake you, right? You are made out of the words of God, and he has the words to recreate you and make you anew and save you. And that's a beautiful, beautiful, loving message. And you know what? Mark Dewey does a good job of talking about what he would have said during that time. But here's one of the stories that we didn't talk about, and hardly anybody is really talking about, which is the fact that Brett Kavanaugh had an armed man that was arrested outside of his house who wanted to kill him over the leaked draft of the Roe versus Wade reversal. And now this man's name is Nicholas Roski. He was arrested early hours Wednesday morning at the FBI by the FBI. And the agent said that in support of a criminal complaint charging Nicholas Roski with attempting to murder outside of the Supreme Court Justice House is why he was arrested. The court filing said that he was dropped off. I want to know who dropped him off. I guess they're working on that. And outside of Kavanaugh's home at 1:05 a.m. carrying a backpack and a suitcase. And he saw 2 U.S. deputy marshals standing guard outside, turned and walked down the street, and then called, check this out, this man is not good. He called the Montgomery County Police hotline to say that he had suicidal thoughts.
Wow.
He was quickly arrested by the police and taken to the police district where he was read his rights and agreed to talk to the agents. I wish more people were covering the fact that that's not good. And I'm not seeing a whole lot of coverage.
Chuck Schumer said just last week, it's a couple weeks ago, when the whole leak came out, maybe it's a month ago. Chuck Schumer says, we got to respond. I forget the actual word, but it was like basically, he was insinuating like we need to push back significantly on this.
Well, the Democrats have always been a little freer with what they mean by pushback. What's her name? Saying
Maxine Waters. Remember Maxine Waters?
Hassle them, don't let them eat. If you see them in a restaurant, go up to them. And it's like, wait a second, chill out. I don't want anybody doing that to you, nor do I want you doing that to anybody else. One of the other things that we did on the show was you covered Biden's trickle-down economic stuff and inflation.
That's right.
And here's, I think if you have the news brief, you should get the news brief. But one of the things that I covered on the news brief was the fact that he's got a lot of people now. Part of his base is starting to leave him. And there's this new poll that came out that said he's losing support amongst younger voters and suburbanites too, women, minorities, particularly Hispanics. And check this out. He's even losing the unions right now.
That's incredible. Why do you think he's losing the unions?
They'll say it in this article, but it says just 27% believe that the country is headed in the right direction. That's down from 51% just a year ago. Yeah. So a year ago, 51% of the people thought, hey, Biden's doing pretty good. And just 43% approved of Biden's job performance and 49% didn't. He's underwater in most groups, even Hispanics, among whom 45% disapprove and 44% approve. Biden's situation is worse than it was for former President Donald Trump at the stage of his presidency. At this point, 46% approved of Donald Trump and 51% disapprove of Biden. Now, here's the main reason why they disapproved of Biden. They said millions of Americans have left the workforce, and there are 5 million more job openings than unemployed people in the U.S. Inflation has increased prices at the pump to record numbers, and food prices are skyrocketing daily. More Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Yep. So that's what it is. It's the fact that we got more people who are living paycheck to paycheck and inflation. And I stopped for a second. I was like, time out. I'm going to make sure I don't say something that needs to be beat. This dude sit up here and shut down your whole world. Yeah. Shut down your whole world. Force everybody to wear masks.
Not just Biden.
Okay,
and
but
Trump too.
But Biden's in office right now, so we're going to deal with him right now. But I agree with you. I'll give it. And we let him. Yeah. And he's put a full stop to the economy. All of them did. Yep. And then tried to force your company, your business, when you did come back, to get everybody. See, now we got to beat that out. Yeah. See, because we can't say that.
We can't say that.
Stop it. It's hard work for these guys. And it took this before you were like, yeah, I'm not on board with this anymore. Yeah. So he could take away your freedoms. You can lose your First Amendment privileges. We're losing our Second Amendment privileges right now because the House just this past Wednesday endorsed some of the most aggressive gun control measures taken up on Capitol Hill in years, raising the minimum age of the purchase of most semi-automatic firearms to the age of 21 and high-capacity ammunition magazines. The vote was 223 to 204. So we're losing there too. So we're losing our First Amendment rights, losing our Second Amendment rights. But inflation. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. If I got to pay more at the pump. And it's like, you know that this has a trajectory. This has a domino effect.
Who was it? Yellen, Secretary of Treasury,
here
right?
We go.
Yellen said in 2021, is 2021 beginning in 2021? Because she was newly appointed. She said she didn't think inflation was going to be a problem at all.
Yeah, and she apologized. Well, she didn't apologize.
She didn't apologize for it, but she later came out and said, "I was wrong. I missed it."
Right.
You had one job. Whatever. You had one job. But here everyone's pointing to the CPI, Consumer Pricing Index, on inflation, and that's a very mild indicator on the reality of inflation. Right now, it's about 8% was what the CPI is showing us. The reality of where inflation's at is more like 20 to 30%, which is way higher. And the Obama administration is. They said you'll hear this on our show tonight. The Obama administration was taking credit, saying we're sparking the best economic recovery ever.
Obama's administration.
Biden's administration. Okay. Yeah. The Biden administration saying we're sparking the best economic recovery ever for low income families, for everybody. But what it actually is, it's not an economic recovery. It's kind of a final boom before the wind or all the air gets let out of the balloon. Because what we did was we inflated everything. We gave you stimulus money. We artificially shut down the economy, which shrunk for a second. But then you said everybody go back to work, and that inflated it. And then you not only gave everybody stimulus money, but you actually printed $5 trillion worth of money. That inflates everything further. And then now what you're seeing is everything's trying to catch up back to itself, and you're getting this last boom of air. So the inflation is going to hurt this next year and a half.
This is why, and I really appreciate Jason Adam right now because this is his first year.
Back to the race.
Yeah, back to the race. The pitcher who decided not to put him and this group of guys, these five guys decided not to put this rainbow symbol from the team on their. The reason I appreciate them is because they've at least learned first year in, to throw a fit at the first crime scene that they have to deal with. Right. This almost feels like in some way Shadrach, Meshach, and a bad Negro.
Yep,
you know what I mean?
That's right.
Where they're like, okay, you know what?
Yep.
We're not gonna eat your meat, and so they're throwing a fit at the first scene. When we were in COVID, we should have been throwing fits at that scene way before. We had plenty of opportunities to throw a fit so that we wouldn't have this type.
First crime scene.
So now we're here. What do we do? Right? Like now that we're here, we didn't throw a fit the first crime scene. In some senses, like okay, this is a judgment. Yeah. But it's a judgment. This is a judgment for us to get our own house in order.
Right.
And this is what we can look at. I'm looking at this article that's saying that more than people who make more than $250,000 a year are still living paycheck to paycheck.
That's incredible.
You know,
that's incredible.
And
incredible stat. I read that.
Yeah, and but part of it is because they're not living within their own means.
Yep.
But it's not just people who are making $250,000 a year.
Yep.
This is a symptom of everybody's operating that way.
That's right.
And so there's things that we need to do, a lifestyle that we need to learn to embrace so that we can be the type of people who are conservative with our funds. We spend the kind of money we need to. We don't overspend when we don't need to. Don't live off the credit cards, right? We learn to use them properly. And then we get a government that learns to do the same thing. Right? So while we didn't throw a fit at the crime scene, let's get our house in order.
That's right.
And then now let's throw the fit. It's kind of like repent first and now go fight, right? Like so.
Yeah. Did you see Rand Paul? He every year he proposes this, a balance of the budget and a way to bring down our debt. He proposes almost the same kind of principled budget every year, and basically we could if we did what Rand Paul committed to in that bill, it would bring everything. It'd bring the national debt down. Start being able to pay off our national debt by like 2027. He kind of give this 10-year taper on everything, and it was pretty. To me, it was like pretty reasonable. I'm like, well, that's not so hard reading through that bill. But the problem is we want the continued government recklessness because that is consistent with our heart's desire not to repent.
Well, it's hard. It is hard though because it takes discipline.
Yeah.
If you're not going to discipline yourself, everybody's got workout programs to help you lose weight out the wazoo. You can find any kind of dieting program. And here's what I've learned. All of them work. All of them work.
If you just do it.
You just don't work.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the biggest problem. All right. Yeah. It's time for you to go watch the show because we're done over here.
Download the app.
Download the app, Fight Laugh Feast app in your favorite app store. This is Cross Politic.